Is it just me or is it the bus business? See, went over to the neighbor, he said, I gotta take Junior into town. He said, and let him get, you know, a little bit of the town use going on here. The farmer said, well, he says, I took my son in, he said, I'll give him a duck. So the old man comes Saturday, he took Junior into town, put a duck in the truck, and they got into town. He says, there you go. He says, you run around town today. He said, find out what life's all about. He said, use that duck. He said, maybe you can trade it for something. So come Saturday evening, the old man come and pick him up. He says, well, son, he says, how'd you do? He says, well, he says, I started down the street. He said, there was a lady there. She motioned me to come on in. She wanted to charge me $50. He said, no, I didn't have it. He says, all I have is a duck. She said, oh, we traded, you know. He said, well, then she liked what I did, so he said, I'll do it again for you. I'll give you the duck back. You take care of me again. So he said, I got the duck back. So he said, I started down the street. He said, I started across the street. He said, all of a sudden, he said, a car come around the corner and run over my duck, smashed it flatter than a pancake. He said, guy jumped out and he says, I'll give you $50. You don't say anything. He said, man, I don't have no driver's license. He said, I need to keep this quiet. The kid says, okay. He says, I went and had a good time today. And he says, not only that, he says, I got a fuck for a duck, he said, I got a duck for a fuck for a duck, and $50 for a fucked up duck.
You need that one. Yeah, you need that one.
What was going to tell you, Bill? We're coming up with some goodness.
This bus company downtown, see, they were losing money, and they thought it was a problem with the drivers. So anyways, what they did is they hired this detective, and he went out every day and he rode these buses, checking on these drivers to find out what was going on. Everything's fine. About Thursday afternoon, the bus is full of people. This little old lady, she comes walking up to the bus like this with a cane. Little old lady goes like that to the bus driver. The bus driver, he jumps up and goes like that. Little old lady goes like that. The bus driver goes like that. Little old lady goes like that. Bus driver goes like that. Little old lady grabs her rear end and walks away. So it offended a bunch of people. They got off the bus and the guy went into the company. He says, I know what your problem is. He says, you have a driver problem. He said, being obscene and making obscene gestures to little old ladies. So they called him in and fired him. He said, you don't understand. She's deaf and mute. He said, I was explaining the route and the fare, and they said, well, not like that. And he says, yeah. He says, she came up with a cane. She says, is the fare 5 cents? I said, no, it's 10 cents. She says, well, is it the local? He said, no, it's the express. She said, does it go by the dairy? He said, no, it goes by the ballpark. She said, oh, shit, I got the wrong bus.